I don't know who let me leave the house like this in 2016, but it looks like a parrot blew up on my eyelids. Bruh. You know what? 2016 is making a comeback. So stay tuned for this tutorial. I have here the e.l.f. brow cream. This one I feel like is pretty similar to the dip brow. I had the dip brow before, but I threw it away because it was like way past 2016. But I still had this one left in my collection, so I'm gonna go ahead and use that. Gonna use my Brow Wiz to kind of brush it out. I think I'm gonna do the outline style for this side because that's how I actually used to do it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and use my Garnier Micellar Water and clean it up. I was one of the only people that never used concealer because I think it made it look even more messy. Okay, the twins are Dark, Bold, and Living Life. I'm gonna use my Shape Tape concealer just to put it on my eyelids to prep. Let's do a fun cut crease with some color. I'm gonna go ahead and use one of the OG palettes by Huda Beauty. This is the Desert Dust palette that she had that was so popular back then. We have to layer it on, super colorful and super thick. That was what was so special about 2016. I mean, all the colors that you could play with. And then somehow we ended up boring in 2024 and 2025. I mean, I totally get it. Like, the clean girl aesthetic makeup looks good for most days. What happened to festive looks, you know? What happened to like crazy eyeshadow looks just because? We cannot forget what years really kicked off the 2016 looks was basically from 2012 to 2014. Those years consisted of smoky eyeshadow. I mean, you couldn't catch me somewhere cool without the smoky eyeshadow. Okay, I have my shadows blended out. So now we're gonna do the famous cut crease. Of course, with nothing other than Shape Tape. I think that's coming out pretty good so far. Shape Tape was my ride or die. Let's do some blues in the middle or some greens or both. I'm gonna use this JCat palette, Dia Noches. Try out this blue. Ooh, that's looking pretty. I think I'm gonna be bold and use a little bit of green here as well. I'm gonna use this gold in the corner just to give it a little bit of life and sparkle. I don't know what I'm going for, but I kind of like it. Actually, you know what? I kind of changed my mind. I don't know what I'm doing here, and I don't know who let me out of the house looking like this because it looks like a parrot kind of blew up on my face. But besties, we're not starting over. We're gonna try to make this look as festive and as less crazy as we can. But maybe the 2016 was all about craziness, but let's try to add this e.l.f. glitter eyeshadow over here and see if it'll give it a little bit of life. Okay, I don't know if that made it worse or better. I just want the green to have a little bit more spice to it and more sparkly. Probably all I did was just ruin my eyeshadow. I don't know. I don't know anymore. I just don't know. I feel like it's starting to look a little bit better. What do you think? I'm gonna use the Desert Dust palette and just put it underneath here. It wouldn't be 2016 without a bold black eyeliner. So let's use the L'Oreal Infallible Black Eyeliner. I'm gonna add on super thick lashes. I believe that these are the Kiss Lash Couture. These definitely don't fit my eyes, but they're really pretty. But for 2016 besties, we need to layer it on thick. Next, I'm gonna use the Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer. I don't know if this really came out in 2016 or not, but this was really popular back then. I mean, just look at that. Wrinkles who? We don't know her here. It pretty much smoothed all that out. And just note, I add a little bit of a peach corrector underneath my eyes because my dark under eye circles are still crazy looking. Next, we're gonna use the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. This is in the shade 2W1. I'm gonna use the MAC Prep and Prime just to help melt in the foundation a little bit better. It actually looks pretty good so far in my opinion. Next, I'm gonna use the Urban Decay All Nighter Spray. This was non-negotiable. Kind of let those shadows settle in. Next, I'm gonna bronze until I turn into an Oompa Loompa. This is the Makeup Revolution Ultra Cream Bronzer in medium. I like how this is a little bit cool toned, so that way I can contour and bronze at the same time. Okay, because 2016, we weren't kidding when it came to contouring. Okay, it's looking a little bit crazy right now, but back then we had to trust the process. Tarte Shape Tape, gonna overdo it just like I did back in 2016. I always mix two shades together the light neutral, and the light sand. You know what? I actually like the concealer's look from back then because it covered everything. I'm gonna go ahead and contour my nose. I need to layer it on thick because that was the time where we contoured way too much. Next to set this, I'm gonna use the Airspun Loose Face Powder. I bought this one a long time ago. I've never tried it back then, but I'm definitely curious about this. I heard that this one was really good for drugstore. Off the bat, it smells a little bit like baby powder. This is in the translucent shade. Okay, yeah, that's pretty smooth. I'm gonna go ahead and bronze just a smidge more. I'm gonna go ahead and use the L'Oreal Infallible Bronzer. This is in the shade medium. Because back then we couldn't leave the house without looking bronzed. Next, I'm gonna apply a little bit of this e.l.f. primer blush, and this is in the shade Always Rosy. This is more like a bronzer type shade, so I'm just gonna add a little bit, because I feel like during this era, we didn't use way too much blush. Never actually baked in 2016 or even now because I don't know how, but I use this as an alternative. This is the Bare Minerals Well Rested Concealer. And this is so good for putting under your eyes close to the end of your makeup. This helps to really brighten the under eyes and to help fill in all those little wrinkles. And I kind of marry my blush and my bronzer together. I have been using this product since 2006. I mean, it is that good. It is not talked about enough. It is not 2016 unless you have a blinding highlighter like the Ofra Rodeo Drive Highlighter. I purchased this one a couple of times already. This is the most beautiful rose gold. I mean, look at that. These are so beautiful and they're so underrated. I mean, the formula is so good. It melts onto your skin. It's super blinding. It melts so well into your skin. Of course, we're gonna add it to the brow bone because we want that to come out as well. Next, I'm gonna take the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Powder. I'm just gonna put this one all over just to blend everything out so that way it doesn't look way too crazy. We cannot go back to 2016 without Kylie Jenner. This is a non-negotiable shade, Dolce K. This is so old that the liner is pretty much broken, and I feel like the shade is not as dark anymore because it's probably super expired. Okay, so now the lipstick. This shade was my absolute favorite by her. Last but not least, we need to finish off with the Urban Decay All Nighter. This is non-negotiable. All right, and that completes a more colorful look for 2016. I'm actually feeling like this eyeshadow is growing on me. What do you think? What was your colorful 2016 look?